Good morning, everybody. I think we're streaming. Alrighty. And welcome back to another live stream. So today we are, like we do every Saturday morning, working on a project together. And we're going to continue with my portfolio rebuild. So last almost a couple months now, just kind of working on designing the portfolio and then also coding it. And now we're kind of stepped into the coding. Last week we got cut a little short. I had a lightning storm come through and it really messed up my internet, so I couldn't stream. I had to cut it short. So we're going to finish up what we were doing last time. So I think we were working on our media TDD for the quote unquote API. It's really just the endpoints that I'm going to be using in this app, and then we'll keep on rolling from there. And so I might talk a little less this time because this is fairly repetitive work. So I'm just going to try and crank it out as quickly as possible. But if there's like something new that we haven't talked about yet, I'll probably start talking about that. But that is the plan. And let me just open up InVision so we can see the work that I've been doing so far. And that is, no, I don't think it's here. I'm gonna sign out to a different account. Let's see if I put it here. There we go. So what we're building, this is the mock-up for the design. And I'm realizing we're gonna have to do a lot more writing on these case studies, but that's all right. So this is kind of the landing page, how it's looking. And then we have, I didn't even put hotspots. We got our about section, projects, which need a little bit of work. We've got what a project will look like, maybe. And then the blog, kind of a little redesign there. We got our posts, and then we've got a blog post, and we've got this back end, and we're kind of starting with the back end and working our way towards the front end. I don't know why, but that's the way I chose to do it. Cool. So that's kind of what we're working on today. So let's keep making this API happen. That's the wrong software. Cool. So last time we had we were working on these tests. So TDDing our media model, and let's just run the suite. Sometimes I just like to run the suite when I step into a project. Everything's still green, so we're right where we are, and that's my alias PU, which is I think kind of funny for the vendor PHP unit. So we're cooking with gas. Everything's looking good. Ooh, too far. And I think just kind of looking through these tests, we had just about everything. The one thing that we didn't do is authorization. So I want to lock this down and make sure that only our, what am I trying to say? Only authorized by authenticated users. So if we do this, I think that's going to blow up a lot of our tests. Yeah, lots of errors there. And that's because we weren't worrying about authorization just yet, which is great because this is what we want to happen. Now we can go and kind of refactor these tests to make them pass again. You can do it the other way around. You can say like, get this to write the test first, but sometimes it's just kind of nice to do it this way. So that's what I wanted to do. So let's see here. Ooh, we have to remember how to sign in a user. So can view media. So let's get ourselves a user. What's the API for that? I'm just going to open up a different Laravel project that I have where I kind of did a lot of testing, and we'll just say new window. And that has, yeah, this acting as factory user create. That's what's going on. That is what I want to sign in. And we'll just import that app user. Okay. And we'll just filter for this test, which I think wasn't working before. Good if I could. All right, that's working. Ooh, got too many things going on here. Take that out. Yeah, it's failing because we're getting a redirect to a non-logged in page. Awesome. Right on. So that's pretty much going to solve a lot of these issues for us. But we'll do this and then we'll write a test, I think, for making sure that visitors cannot access this. Can't create media, can't update media, can't delete media. All these are gonna, and we're starting to do like a lot of things repetitively, which now we kind of have to get into like world building a little bit. So world building is like when you like set up your context for the test, because we're doing this a lot over and over and over again. And there's a good, I forget his name, I think it's a him, one of the devs over at Spady, or not Spady, Titan, TDD, like world building, not worlding, but world building. They wrote like a really good article. Somewhere on the Titan blog, and it was like just like setting up, maybe it was this, I think it was a little while ago, but they have a really good art, yeah, class-based model factories, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, John, so he wrote this really great article like on how to set up these kind of model factories and like build this world for you, so that everything is like right there and super easy to use, and it just works really nicely. So, and he just puts them right in the database. I've seen other people put them like in their test suite, so that's another, I think, pattern. I think Jeffrey Way did that last time I saw this. So you can like kind of set up like this Fluent API, or method rather, for like kind of setting up what you're looking for, which I think is like a really nice approach sometimes. I don't feel like we're quite there yet, but I will definitely, like if we were like doing things where we were creating a lot of relationships, this is like all of a sudden becoming a really sweet setup, but I don't think we're quite just there yet. So I'm going to keep the duplication for now, and kind of run from there. But I put that in the chat, so if anybody wants to read that on their own time, go for it. That's a pretty good article. Cool, let's see here. Alrighty, so I think we're back to green now with all these tests. Nice. So I'm going to write another test here, and I'll probably put this above our validation tests, just because like those are important, but I feel like they belong lower. And so with a validation test, we like wrote a test for every single validation rule. And that's I think an approach definitely kind of makes things very specific. But at the same time, it's like you could also encapsulate all that in one test and just have many assertions. For this though, I think it's nice because then you could be like, oh, okay, title was not included, header image wasn't included. You just kind of have a little bit better mapping. It's a little bit more brittle, but that's kind of the trade-off there. For this one, I'm gonna write a test like visitor, and actually I'm gonna update all of these other tests to say user can, just because that helps me know that these were authenticated. So that's the logic I'm using, user versus visitor. So user can, and so I would say something like visitor cannot, I'm going to say manage media. And manage is my catch-all term for all the CRUD actions. Maybe I could say CRUD. Maybe that would be a better terminology for us to use. So we'll go ahead and grab this. And then I basically need to go through all these other methods here and see what's going on. So if I was going to try and get this URL, I should get a 401, believe. Let me see if that works. .302, okay, because it's redirecting, it's not unauthorized. Where does it redirect to? I think it just redirects to login. Let's try this. Redirects to that admin page, which is that what we're doing? I thought that page was going to be unauthenticated as well. So we've got this admin section /admin. Okay, no, that is right. That's what we're doing here. Nice. Sometimes you just need to go check. So this is what we should be expecting, right? We should be expecting that if they try and access this when they're unauthenticated, they should get redirected back to that admin page, which is my login page. So if we run this now, and if we run the whole suite, nice. So like I could do one for like read media and then one for create media. So you could do it that way, or you can kind of have them all in the same spot. Choice is yours. Like some people are very dogmatic about it, but at the end of the day, you can make a choice here. I'm going to probably put them all in one test, just because there's like less logic to it. So I don't know, that's just me. And so we're going to need to create a factory and just do that. And it's going to just be the same. A little repetitive here, but that's, I think, okay. That's what we're kind of expecting. Honestly, this could be at the top. And like, you could leave a comment for yourself. So this could just be like, get all. I guess we could kind of make it more in line with like the CRUD. Read single. Anyway, I like leaving some comments for myself sometimes, because sometimes you're coming back here like, what was I thinking? And yeah, I could read this and I could probably parse it pretty quickly, but sometimes a little English goes a long way. Let's see here. So we're going to need this route. And I'm just going to add that there as well. This is kind of like, I don't know. A lot of people say like your tests can be your documentation. I think your documentation should be your documentation, but that's another argument for another day. But I think if you do have these kind of comments, it makes it a little bit easier for like the next developer to come in here and be like, oh, what was this person thinking? Oh, okay, this all makes sense. So I like that as well. So, and I might be breaking some sacred rule of test writing here, but it's my project. I think a lot of people get lost in that. I'm just going to pontificate here because I feel like I need to say something, but I feel like so many people just get lost kind of being like, I need to follow this one special sacred way of writing things and doing things, and it's like, do it your way. Get it to green, get it working, and then yes, there are definitely like some best practices we can follow, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to follow and to really get a good sense for what to do. So this is create media. Yeah, we'll keep it with the CRUD actions. And this will be our patch. And what were we using for that? Data media? What's this? Alright. No extra world building here. Update media. And that's just going to be the same. So like the disadvantage of this approach is like when this fails, I won't necessarily know which of these is failing, and that's the big downside. But I feel like I would just be like, if any one of these fails, it's like an issue with this middleware here, and so it's kind of like affecting all of them. So I can sleep at night with that. And if you can't, write it your way. Alrighty, that should work. Alrighty, what's failing? Connect from media. Must be a type array object given. You ran into this. Alrighty. Cool. Nice. And we're at green. And I'm feeling pretty happy. So that is, I think, everything that I care about with this media backend. And we're kind of doing this thing where this is the backend controller, because we have two separate sections. So this is, we're going to write different tests, I think, for that sort of front end functionality. This model or this controller is really only focused on that backend. That's at least the way I'm thinking about it right now. We'll probably have some sort of like external pages controller, and that will be more for that like outside functionality, and we'll just grab the data that needs there. At least that's my logic so far. Alrighty. Did we do a get status last time? Let me do that again. So we've got our media controller, we've got our future media test. That worked for me, so let's go ahead and git commit. And what do we do? TDD or added media endpoints and tests. Great. So we can check that off our list. So media was pretty straightforward because we didn't have a lot of relationships. Same with submissions, actually. I can go ahead and maybe start creating those as well. So that will kind of be the next thing I'll think about here. Just because we'll do like the easy models first, and then we'll do the ones that are going to need some more relationships because we'll have different tests for that, or slightly different. They'll be pretty similar. But now that we've got this all set up, I feel pretty happy. This one was for has admin path. Yeah. I think that's all good. Alrighty. And let me just double check my mock-up here. Did I have? Yeah, so this is going to have like a full backend as well. I don't think that I will be creating contacts from my backend, nor will I need to edit them. I will just need to be able to read them and maybe delete them. So these contacts refer, or these submissions refer to what's coming through on this contact me form. Right now we've kind of got it set up like a model, which I like. We were having a discussion last time about like data security and like, should I be storing this on my server? Those are legit questions. So I don't want to say those are things we shouldn't talk about. Lots of different approaches last time. We talked about using that, like using a third party. And so just having that contact form go somewhere else so I don't have to worry about the data requirements. I think that's fine. I could also send it to like a Slack channel, which it's not ideal, but at least it kind of keeps it away from my server once again. So that's kind of another solution that I was kind of thinking about. Or I could just kind of hash, or not hash, but I can encrypt the email on my server so that way it's less easily acceptable or visible, and then I could just decrypt it when I want to see it. That's an option as well. All sorts of options here that we can think about. I wonder if I need terms and conditions if I'm going to be or a privacy policy. This is where like that context stuff gets hard. But I could also be overthinking it and just be like, if somebody wants to like send me a notice or something about it, then I'll just take the form down or something like that, which is a shame. I think we've gotten very litigious lately, and it's kind of a bummer. But that's kind of the way of the world right now. I could just have this send me an email directly, which would kind of be nice. Maybe I'll do something like that, where since it actually is just sending me an email instead of living, we kind of lose this whole back-end CRM side, but I think that's okay. You can honestly just get rid of the dashboard and just go straight to that blog page. Again, where scope is kind of what I'm trying to think out right now. So if I was going to do that, I'd probably just use Mailtrap to test it, and then what was I using last time for my emails? There's a service out there that I like to use, but I forget the name of it right now. Oh, that's not good. I could look in my, what are they called? Mailgun, I think. It's the one that I like. I'm going to see if that's right or not. Let's see here. No, I don't think it's Mailgun. There's another competitor that I like better. That SendGrid? There's so many of these days. I forget which one I have an account on. Twilio. Oh, I didn't know this was Twilio. What's their pricing look like? Oh, it's now. That looks like it was a new deal. Free. 100 a day. If I'm getting more than 100 a day, I would feel like that's kind of crazy. This is not the one that I was thinking of, but maybe we'll play with this. That would be kind of fun. I like Twilio and what they're up to, so that'd be nice to support them. I can't believe. Let me go look at my list of accounts here and see if I can figure it out. Not Drip. I kind of got off of Drip when they did all their shenanigans, which is a shame because it was a nice product before that. I wish there was a better way to surface it. Spark Post, that's what I'm thinking of. I like them a lot. I just found their API and their configuration to be way easier than other products. Let's go look at their pricing and see if that hasn't changed. I'm not going to send that much. Free test account. Did they change their pricing? I thought they had a free one. Which they don't. That's kind of a bummer. But maybe we'll learn something new together. Maybe that'll be fun. Interesting. Oh, I just see the email API. I'm not doing marketing campaigns. Those prices change? Oh, plus $10 a month, I see. Nah, that's not what I need to worry about. Has anyone done a Laravel package for SendGrid? Let's see. Oh, looks like somebody's got a nice little post here. That is what I'm talking about. Oh, and they've even got it in their documentation. Nice. See, I love that Laravel is becoming, like, I think so popular that now products are like, I need to make this easy for Laravel developers. And I just think that is always super, super nice. The SMTP driver. All right, this is for 5.5. All right, those are the EMV settings. Maybe we'll do this. And they look like they had a free version. Yeah, there's no way I'm going over that anytime soon. No, thank you. This looks pretty dope. Alrighty, I'm gonna roll with this, which is nice. Alrighty. I'm actually gonna keep that open because that looked useful. So if we do that, then SendGrid is just gonna send it to my email, which I think is essentially the same as like, I don't know, anything else. Could I get spam runs? Probably. So I'm gonna have to add like a honeypot and some other things. So, but we don't have to worry about. Well, we will worry about that. But let's go look at our app architecture here a little bit, and I might have to remove like this model and a few other things. So we have submissions controller, which you might still use. I think we will still use for sure. And then we have the submissions model. And then we've got a factory, and then we've got a migration. That should be everything submissions related. I don't think we did layouts for it yet. So tests would have been handy. If only we've been writing our tests a little earlier. That's all right. Cool. And so we're gonna have to do some mocking on this probably. Which actually the mailable thing is really easy to test. So this might be good all around. So we've got our submissions controller. Let's kind of leave that as is. We've got submissions model. I'm going to leave the model for now because sometimes it's nice to be able to do that. But I'm going to get rid of the factory and rid of the database. Alrighty. Migration there. Cool. I'll go ahead and commit that. Nice. Alrighty. And then we don't need an index. We don't need a form for creating because this will be Ajax. We do need like a store method, kind of, or like a send method, but I think that's fine. Oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hope this is interesting on your Saturday mornings here. Let's see, and I don't. That's just boilerplate. It gets generated, so I don't really care about what that is doing. Okay, so we just kind of need that method. And that should be good for us. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a test here, and we'll kind of TDD this and then get to where we want it to be. So make test, and I'll just call it submissions test. And sometimes like I'll write some pseudocode, which I think is a nice habit. At test, so a visitor can send, or let's say submit a submission a little not great, but it's okay. English is hard, writing is hard, but I think that's kind of what we want. So what do we want to do first? Well, first we'll do like we'll get the data. So we'll just do like some sort of validation. And then they're going to need to, we're going to need to mock. So essentially we're sending the email. Send the email. And then we're going to confirm email success or failure. Then we're going to like respond with message. And this will be JSON, because that'll be like a view component. So that's kind of what we're going to need here in terms of, I think, the overall structure. And so let me go back to the Laravel docs, and actually I'm going to do a couple different things here. So first we're going to go into env, and we'll go to mail trap, and we'll set this up first. So I'm going to obfuscate this for a second. Apologies, because I'm going to put in some keys here. It's not that I don't trust y'all, so that everybody else on the internet who could see this, I don't trust. And which one do I want to use? Oh, let's use this one. And I'll go ahead and set up our, oh, I'm going to have to delete all these. Alrighty, we got some credentials here. And I can always reset these pretty easily, but just want to make sure we're, actually you guys are probably going to see this if we keep developing with it, but what are we going to do? Oops, who's ringing the doorbell? Nope, don't want to talk to them. Where are we at? Okay, so we've got that kind of set up. That's going to let us work with the mailer, which is pretty nice. And then we're going to, it doesn't look like I can hide this really. All right, then. Can I reset this like really easy? Oh, okay. All right. So I can reset those. Actually, I just did reset those credentials. So please don't blow me up. But I will probably just do that. So that way we don't run into issues. Alrighty. So we got that set up. Let me bring the screen back, and then we'll keep on rolling. Alrighty, so I got those configurations set up. Basically just copy pasting from Mailtrap. They make it pretty easy. And then we've got, okay, so we're going to send the email. Let's kind of focus in on that first. And so how do I think I'm going to want to do this? So if we go to Laravel, we'll go to the mailer. I haven't done mail in a while, so always look at the docs. That's what it's here for. So sending mail, how we're going to do this. So send a message to facade. I think it would be nice to be like, I might just be overthinking it. So maybe we'll get rid of the model. But something like this. So to send the mail, I don't know. This is the test that I should be writing, but it would be something like that. This might be one where I have to like work backwards from the code to the test. Sometimes that gets a little confusing. They have a way to test this. Where's that? Mail fake. That's what I want. Alrighty. So we'll start here. Actually, we'll start with both of these. That's kind of where we will begin. And I think, what was that? That's just the mail facade. Okay. Cool. So assert that nothing was sent, which is what we want. We'll do our, the user will probably make a post request to submissions. How were we writing that before? this, just post, right? Okay. This will kind of come down here. And we'll need to create some sort of fake data here, but for right now, we'll just hard code it. We might just hard code it overall. And then the message. Something nice like that. Alrighty. So this is what we're doing. After that post, we're going to assert that, and let me just kind of say this. We'll say response. That's also going to send the email. Actually, I guess that should also be back down here. So we can do like our validation checks. Ooh. And we'll actually do validation in a different test. So I can actually put that down here. Come back to that. Sometimes I just do comments or things I want to get to. So then we're going to do that mail test. So assert sent. And we'll probably call this like, contact submission. Use order. And I don't really care about this stuff. Let me just double check. Alrighty, so I really just care that it was sent, and probably to the user. So maybe I should grab this one. And why don't we just call this like the data? And instead of data, let's call this the submission. Yeah, I don't know. We'll call it submission right now. Use it submission, and I want to make sure that that submission email matches what was. Actually, that is not going to be what happens here. It's going to just be sent to me. So I'll hard code that in probably as an env variable. So really, I'm just I care that that's gotten sent. We can refactor this back to where it was. Alrighty, this is going to fail all over the place, but we're just kind of getting there. And then response. Let's see. Assertions. I think it's here. Assert JSON. And I forget how we can fake that this is failing, but right now I would assume this is going to be okay. So instead of that, we'll say JSON. And it would probably be something like this, like status. And maybe we would make this like, maybe give it a code as well. And it's not like a 201. Let's say 200 just for now. We can change that. All right, that's kind of what I would like to see here in my perfect world. This is what I think I would like to see. So we've got, if we hit this endpoint with that data, oh, thank you for the follow there. Appreciate it. So if we hit this endpoint, we're going to, with this data, then we're going to get a a nice 200, and then we're going to send this contact submission mail class. So that's what we expect to happen. So if I run this test, it's going to really fail. But yeah, all sorts of failures. Ooh, and let me add our friend from before with exception handling. Make sure we're getting all the errors. Cool. I think that'll take care of what we need. So let's go to our submissions controller. And I'm gonna, well, we can write a test for the validation now. I'm gonna kind of copy the test we have down here. Not that one, that's too big. So that's a nice thing. Once you have some tests, you're like, I can just copy this. So it will require an email. We don't need this. We don't need this. If you just post a submission, and we'll just kind of grab this guy, and that will be empty. And we'll just say that there's an error here for email. And I'm actually going to start extracting this to data for no other reason than the fact that it's like ruining my line spacing. So it's probably a little unnecessary, but makes it a little easier for me to read. Why not? I guess we were calling this submission earlier. I'll do the same thing here. So yeah, that would be that error, and then requires a message. Right? This is TDD. We're doing the world building first. I'm going to actually change this one to a valid email, so we'll come back to that. This one's a little easier because it's just what we need there, and then we'll kind of come back here and recreate this. And what if we just kind of just throw in a random string? We still get the same error because we'll do 2 validations here. Okay, so if we run this, what's going on here? I expected this. I'm not sure. Oh, because we missed. Okay. 2 failures. So those are failing. I don't know why this one's not failing, but we'll come back to it. Okay. So first things we're going to test are data is equal to request, and then validate. And then we'll do email, required, and we'll say email, and then message, also required. Alrighty, so I think this will get rid of those 2 errors now. Oh, I'm not even returning anything. That's why. But, you know. And I wonder if that's going to work with our JSON. That's what we want. Oh, we probably want this one. Nice. So that's what we're going to do there. Forget how we make that switch. I think it's how the request gets sent. Let's go look at our validation. Redirect. So it just knows because it probably has in the header. Yeah. Awesome. So that'll take care of us there. So those are not working just yet, but maybe they will now. And I wonder if we just need to do the post differently. Let's go back. Testing JSON APIs. That's what I was wondering. Do we need to do this JSON post? That. JSON. Well, I guess that is working. Maybe I'll do this because I want it to be really explicit in my test. It's up to me. So I'll do that. Alrighty. Oh, I don't even have a route. That's probably what part of the issue is. So once it says submissions, that's just it. Alrighty. And we're going to just need a post to submissions. Those are kind of all my auth routes. So let's see here. Grab this guy. Yeah, that should be contact. Yeah, we'll come back to that. And then we've got our submissions controller. And this was store, I believe. Alrighty. It's probably our first issue. 3 failures. Interesting. Those 3 test failures. Let me limit this down to this guy. So we're posting that to that. I just said it was going to take care of that automatically for us. I'll go back to post. Oh. Well, that will help. Submissions controller, right? Yeah. All right, we'll step closer. Given data was invalid. There we go. Cool. So now we've got this validation one's working. We should only have 1 failure. Getting there, slowly and steadily. That's like the nice thing about having the test. Like you're working towards that green. And now we're 1 step closer. So we've got our validation figured out. All right, what will happen next? So we're going to need to, I'm going to go back to mail. Sometimes you just need to read through these a little bit more. Sometimes I forget this, but we'll come back to that in a minute. All right, so I'm going to want to do this here. Contact submission. Great. Import that class. Boom. All right, step closer to green. And then what are we going to do? And that gets put in mail, like right here. So we're going to need that in a second. You know what? I wanted to make that a... Ooh, that's frustrating. A markdown email for myself. That would have been really nice. I think we could just run it again and see what happens. And we'll put that in emails, and then we'll put that in my contact. Mail already exists. Well, not if I delete it. Nope, not the providers directory. Alrighty. And we're back in action. I just like the markdown views because they're pretty easy to work with, like right off the bat. We got our views, we got our email, we've got contact, and that's pretty nice, if you ask me. And we're gonna customize a lot of things here, but there'll be more in the mailer. I guess I could write a unit test for that, but right now we'll get this working. So this is what should be happening. So in our submissions controller to send this mail, so we've generated our mailable. I don't want to queue it just yet. Ooh, where did we go? Sending mail. So we just use that facade. And one. And we're just going to pass in this data here. And this will be contact submission. And we'll just bring in this mailer facade. And we're going to send this to whatever that EMV is going to be, but right now let's do test. Example, just to get this going a little bit better. Use one parameter. Method signature uses 0. Okay. Let's go into this guy. We do it like this. Like that. Let's see here. If I'm gonna go back up here. Just to double check we did that right. A lot of just looking through documentation. So yeah, protected, boom, boom. And then we can pass, that'll be here and accessible within our markdown. Mailable. Nice. So let's just go customize that real fast. Alrighty. Where did it go? Submissions controller. Contact. So I don't want a button. You can say like new contact submission. Bold. Maybe we can do this. Actually, we might be able to do this markdown. So we can say like email. And then this would just be, and then we would say message. Actually, we'll just do this like so. Something like this. Cool. Try the right spot there. So our submissions controller, that's all we're doing. And then we're going to need to return a JSON response because that's what we expect in our test. But we're getting a step closer here. We'll probably do a try catch. I forget how this fails. Am I missing the error here? Weird. Let's just kind of get it to green first, and then we'll go back. I haven't done this in a second, so let me just double check here. Response. Hello world. Yeah, JSON response, that's what I want. Okay, there we go. And what did we say it was? Oh, we might not even need that model anymore, which is pretty nice. Where are we here? Submissions tests. And code, I guess it's status. We'll call this message. We'll call it status code. I don't know. It's technically irrelevant because we'll just call it success. No, we'll say message. And then that'll say mail sent successfully. We'll kind of tweak that for our test. Just in thinking about this a little bit more, this should work. Let's see how we do. Yeah, look at that. Very green. So now we know that that email is getting sent, and that we're getting the response we would expect. Let me just kind of like, sometimes it's nice to do like a little sanity check for yourself. Yeah, look at that. That's why I like working with like the mail facades as opposed to maybe rolling it my own, just because it's so easy to do that mocking in those tests. So nice just to be able to do that and feel good that everything is working the way you would expect it to. I guess we could queue it, but that's oh, I'm not even using refresh database. I guess because we don't need it. This is not even touching the database. Cool. So what I'm going to do now is get rid of the submissions model, and I'm actually going to rename this. I'm going to call this contact controller. Yeah, do that. Then in web, we'll have to change a few things. One calls contact. Sometimes you'll think of a better name for something, do a little refactor. And it's nice because we know that this is all going to work. Should work. See if that's going to work for us. Nice. And then we're going to rename this guy to contact us. Awesome. Now we've got a little API. And now I don't have to worry about keeping it on my server. And honestly, that kind of makes the whole backend side of this a lot easier. It's less impressive. So the reason I was thinking about doing it the other way, so just for reference for folks who might be new, I was thinking about kind of making this like a light CRM kind of thing, was I found that when I go to job interviews or talk to people and they're like, wow, what's like, I can't believe you built the whole backend for your website. Can I see it? Like the more stuff in there, the more impressive it seems. So I was going to kind of do something like that. But now I'm kind of like, do I even need to do that? So I'm not going to. So now we don't have to worry about contact in there. We just have to worry about the content itself. And honestly, I can get rid of dashboard too, which is kind of nice. All these little refactors just make things, I think, a lot nicer as you're going through it. Let's see here. So this is a good example of how your coding defines your eventual design and your eventual user experience. Because sometimes you're like, I don't want to or can't implement this. And that will really change the game. Let's see here. Contact submission. Nice. I do kind of want to test this. Oh, and I do need to. Alrighty. So we got a couple of things going on here in this this email here. So I need to define who I'm sending this to, which I think I do actually in, where'd that go? In the controller itself. Yeah, so I'm gonna need to set that up. And then I'm gonna need to do a few other things. Okay. And how do we, yeah. Couple of things I'm going to need to think about here. So a lot of times I add like a variables folder to my config because it can get, you can like cache your env variables, which is faster than referencing the env directly. So that's something I've done in the past. Let me just see if I can just do this from memory without looking anything up. What do we call this, like variables? No, this doesn't seem right. Yeah, it's not right at all. Not a class. Just a file. So then we'll just return. And this would be like contact to email. And then this could reference env. And it might be the same thing. And why is that not working? Oh, what am I doing wrong here? Oh, yeah. There we go. Ooh, it's been a morning. So that's contact to email. And then in this controller, inside here, we can do config. I can do variables dot contact to email. I think this is going to work. Hope this is going to work. And let's bring this down here. So now this is kind of set up in my configuration. I can change, if I ever change my email, I can change that as well. So again, obfuscate this for a second. just kind of set that up in my env. I've got some things in here now that don't necessarily want to share. Cool. Alrighty, if I run this test, is this all gonna work? Yeah, okay, it should be working. Which is pretty nice. So that was one thing I wanted to change, and then I also wanted to, let me bring this back. Also wanted to set up like my message and things like that, so. Excuse me. I think this is where I want that to be. Subject. So this, that's in the build. And we could say, what do I want this to say? Like personal. New contact. Submission. Like that. And I do, maybe in our test, I will add in now, where'd that go? That is being sent to the right person there. Where'd that go? It's going to pass in the mail. There we go. So easy, so nice. To do these little tests here, and that should be sent to the config variables dot contact to email. All right, let's see if this is still working. I'm going to get property email of non-object. See, this is why I wanted to specify that test a little bit more. Let me just kind of TDD this. Yeah, okay, see, this is where those tests come in. And that's because I'm calling this variables. There we go. That's what was going on. And am I doing this? Yeah, just doing that right up there. Okay. Cool. Nice. Noise. We're getting there. Alrighty. So that endpoint should be pretty good. Pretty good. Trying to think if there's anything else I'd want to test. Like has subject, but I don't. It's just going to me, so I don't really care. And now I guess the next thing would be to like wire this up. That I think can come a little later. Yeah, we're working on the feature. Might as well think about it. Recipe. Alrighty. So that's all I need. So it looks like I just need to update these configuration details to my account here, whatever I set that up, and it should be good to go. And that is the kind of configuration that I like to see. Sometimes I've had to in the past like write my own email wrappers, which is just so no fun. But that looks like it's going to be really easy, so that's really nice. Because it uses like everything we just did, and those tests will still work, which is really nice. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and say git add. And just say git commit. Added contact email endpoints and tests. Cool. I don't know why. I like keeping my, like some folks love, I think, having their this all full with everything they did. I know I can always go see it, so I just like this to be clear. I don't know. It just could just be me, but who knows? Alrighty, so we're really cooking with gas right now. We've got, I don't need to look at that until later. We've got our mocks. I'm going to actually bookmark this. And I'll just put this on the bookmarks bar so I can come back to it. And we'll just call it a send grid. I do that a lot. I'll just save kind of stuff so I can come back to it as needed. Let me just look at this real fast. You kind of just set this up. What's the problem here? Interesting. That's good to know as well. I'm glad this is something we found, so I might do that as well. Cool. Come back to that. Nice. Let's check off another part of our API there. Okay. Now we've got probably a lot more tests right here. So we've got this whole blog section. That's also got some image handling in it, like the media, which we didn't really scaffold out. Kind of thinking about different ways to handle that. Might use the Spady media library, but anyway, I digress. So we're gonna make a. Honestly, this it's gonna be very similar to the other one, but make tests, and we'll call this posts test, right? I'm gonna double check. That's my model name. Yeah. Alrighty. This will definitely use database. Or refresh database rather. And this is going to be very similar to our media tests. So let me go ahead and, oh, where'd that go? View. I used to have this mapped to like a, oh, it's window, key command, and now now it's not mapped. So it's pretty frustrating sometimes. Alrighty. So we're going to need all these tests. I might just scaffold these out, and then we can kind of get rolling. Can view create post. crud. Let's see, post. Yeah, we have that up there. That's kind of, yeah, let's do this too. And I'm gonna have to review my model here in a second. What would this be, like posts? Yeah, nope, not what I wanted. Good post table, cool. So it requires the title. Requires a header image, which we're gonna come back to that, I think. Requires a description. It won't in the post, but we'll need a published on. Actually, no, that'll be generated. But we do need to publish that. I think those are all the things that we're going to need to. We'll probably need a status. But slug should be generated. And this should say post. We got a lot of tests here that are just not going to work. But let's roll with it. Might need to come back to that, but anywho, alrighty. Start scaffolding this out. So this might just be posts. App user. Oop, that's not what I wanted. Let's do posts. Maybe I should just duplicate that whole thing, but sometimes it's nice to just kind of go through the process a little bit, because you can catch any issues. So again, posts. Honestly, I should just do this. Nope. Oh, I hate the new Mac touch bar thing. There we go. Posts. Match case. No. Preserve case. Yeah, we'll just do replace all. Cool. Okay, user, post. This does not have an admin path, so that's going to break, but we're going to need that. So, good thing to think about. And I'm actually going to make a test for that. While I'm thinking about it, honestly, it's going to be the same thing as this media one. Alrighty. Fail, but we'll come back to that. And normally you might go one by one, but I think this is just so boilerplate that we'll just kind of run with it. Alrighty. I'll just say posts. That's the only problem with that. Media is kind of not a great. Like sometimes you get lucky and you're like, oh, I've got one that, like, if we were doing like tags and posts, it's like a lot easier. You just replace the tag for the post, but media is not as easy to do that auto replace. Oop, that was. Why is it doing that? Alrighty. Unfortunately, we get a lot of help from our IDE. Nice. And deleted. Nice. I think this will work. Read all posts, read single posts. We got, oh, that'll be post. Read post create, that's fine. Read post edit. You know when you look at a word for too long and you're just like, is that even how you spell it? I'm kind of doing that right now with posts. Update a post. That's supposed to be updated post. We're gonna have to think about that, actually. We'll come back to that. Delete a post. Alrighty, and now we've got all of our nice, lovely validation stuff. Why is that happening? It's pretty frustrating, but we'll make it. So media, post. Alrighty. Post of London. Yep. Toast of London, that's a good show. We'll come back to that. Gonna copy paste all these guys in here. Alrighty. Now we run the tests for this big class. We can also filter by the class, which I should have been doing probably a little earlier, but lots of failures here. Where'd that go? Oh, this is that class. Yeah. Lots of things going on here. Call it undefined method. Yeah, that's the big one. Let's go fix that first. Let's get ourselves green. Alrighty. So we're going to need to open up the old model. Honestly, let's open media as well. There we go. No, thank you. Admin path, admin posts, this slug, and we're also going to need to like change this route key name while we're here. Because we'll need that a little bit later. All right, so that should fix. That should get that passed. And then that gets a lot of this back to green, or at least better errors, right? I can work with these errors. 14 failures. All right, we're gonna web actually, or my routes, and probably set those up first, just because we've got them. And let's now start organizing this a little differently. I'll call this media. I like route groups a lot. Some folks don't. Personally, I really like them though. And there's actually a helper, I think, that's like lets you do all of your like media or your controller like RESTful routes if you're kind of following that convention. Let me see if that's in Laravel at all. Route groups. Named routes. I don't know if it's documented. I think it is. Route. Was that a controllers? Yeah, resource controllers. Yeah, this is what it is. So like you can actually use this and all of this gets taken care of. So let me just do 2 tests here. Alrighty. And we just say media and media controller. That didn't work. Oh, probably because it's like media. Still not working. What's going on there? I thought that would work for sure. Might be missing something here. Oh. No. That should work here. Oh, that's kind of dope. That's really nice. Well, let me do this like. Oh, that's saying medium. Wow, that's really smart actually that it figured that out. How many tests are failing? Not all of them, but a lot of them are. Let's see if that changes it or not. Alrighty, and which one was that? I would just show. It's going to change a lot of things, but let me see if that'll work. What are we looking for? Media.show. I have to do that kind of a refactor. We're getting a little away from what we were doing. Yeah. Honestly, I think that's not a bad refactor to make. Very distracted from where we were. Okay. Media controller. Alright, I should have done that one by one, but here we are. So edit medium. And then media.edit. And we're going to have to do the same thing over on the patch side. That's everything. I'll run that again. Cool. That's the nice thing about tests. You can do these refactors and things don't break. Alright, so if we do that, this should get us a green here. No, everything's still failing. Oh, this might just be for APIs. Is that what's going on? Yeah, that's what I would expect that to look like. Boy, that's pretty cool. The localization stuff you can do in Laravel really blows my mind. I'm not sure if I'm like specifically following the exact resource API, but that doesn't matter. Maybe? I don't know. Anywho, that's a thing you can do if you were probably better at following your resourceful controller setup. Let's see if we can do that for posts. Let's see if that can't help us there. There's there. The first one's passing, which doesn't make any sense. Oop. Alrighty. So now we're kind of cooking with gas. And we just kind of grab this directory and rename it to posts. That's all good. So index. And that should be good. See, that one's green. We might not have the controller set up just yet. Yep, that's what's going on there. We'll open up media controller. And we will bring this over. And that'll be post. Index, that should be green now. Yeah, nice. Pretty cool. And this should just be returning the view. Post create. Alright. We'll kind of just go through and edit these. That's all of it. So now we just need to focus in on our controller a little bit more. Alrighty. Gotta run through these one by one. View posts dot show. Nice. Compact that, and then that's just going to say post. Not super exciting stuff, but you know, I think a lot of programming is not the most exciting. It's just kind of getting yourself to a point where things are working. All right, user can create posts. This is going to be our next, probably bigger test. So it'll be up in store. And we'll grab a lot of this. On the side of that, this will just be post. Nice. Posts. And then in terms of validation, we've got a lot of things that we're validating here. So we kind of have tests for all that. So we've got a title, header image, content. Where do we go? Description, status. I don't think we have status, and publish that. Oh, we do have status, but we don't have publish it. Alrighty. Where did our tests go? That's not what we want to run. Okay, what's going on? Acting as user, we're going to set a post. We're going to post to post create. Oh, this might be what's going on here. Yeah, so that's post up store. That's part of what was going on there. That should all be kosher, so what's going on? Let me take that exception handling off. Sometimes you get a different error. No. So we're actually have the user. That's sort of our first thing. And we're just generating that post. We go back to that route list. Admin posts. That's what I expect to be here, which is what we are hitting in the test here. That's fine. That post control. Let's see, this is sometimes why I think people get away from that, but it should be working. What if I just go? What if I get rid of this first? See what happens. Okay, so something's gone wrong on the validation side. Title, header image. Oh, let me look at our post. No, that should be a URL. Something's going on with our validation here. And I don't know why this is request all. It should be data. It's a little bug here too. I think we just, that might have been when we got distracted by that thunderstorm last time. Anyhow, you catch little bugs like that. It's kind of nice. So all of this is coming through. Let me just DD the request. Oh, no status is there. So we've got a title, we've got a header image, we've got content, we've got description, we've got some other things. Oh, that's probably, no, that's all there. Publish, oh, publish at. Is that what it says in the model, in migration? Yeah, it is publish at. I just had a typo. These are the things. That's why we do the TDD, because it helps us catch those. All right, so post tests. Nice. That should get us a green here. Still got that going on somewhere. Where'd it go? There we are. All right. Let's see if this is going on. So we got our data. Confused why this is going. Is this an issue? No, that looks fine. Okay. Let's go have a post there. That post is not working. That should work. Let me just run this media test again. It's all working nice. We're getting there. I want to say it's something to do with this. I wanted this to work, but it's for some reason not working. That's what we're doing. We're posting to that. We're storing it. If we go to web here, just for my sanity. If I say like, I'm going to post to posts. Not what I wanted. So we're still getting that same error. This is probably something super basic, and I've just been staring at a screen for too long. Let's go back to request all. Okay, that's what's going. Something's going on here. It's weird that it was working over there. Oh, I know what's going on. It's because we're not doing all these other things. So we're missing some. So publish on should be nullable. So that's going to be something we need to change to the database. And then, let me just do that while I'm thinking about it. Description. And then the author ID is going to also need to be the current user. And I guess we could do this a couple different ways here. User posts create data. I think this works. It's probably what's going on here. And we're just going to DD that post. See if it's working. Yeah, that's the problem. Let me just make sure that relationship got set. Author ID 1. Cool. Alright. Matches the attributes. Alrighty, so that's going to be in our test here. What's that factory at? I ran into an issue with this the other day. So I'm going to just... I think Jeffrey Way was advocating that you could get away from this, but for some reason I was running into some issues. So I can go back to that kind of approach. And I'm going to say that the user ID here, just so it's kind of set up right, it's going to be equal to this user. Alrighty. I think this will work for us now. Getting closer though. Row in the table posts matches the attributes. Oh, publish odds null. Which makes sense. Alrighty. Oh, that's going to be author ID. There we go. That was the issue. Okay, so that is this test. And we're coming up on 2 hours here. We're pretty close to finishing this. So I'm going to go probably try and finish all these last endpoints here. And then be good. Let me go back to web though, make sure that this is going to work here. Oh yeah. I want to get this fixed, but I might come back to that. So where were we? It's a post controller. We're going to get into updating now, and we'll probably do the same validation. And actually, we will not do that because we don't want to reset it. Keeping this a lot easier. Let's grab this guy. Alrighty. Let's see here. User can update a post. Let's see if this works first, and then we can tweak it. Alrighty. Running into a similar issue. Let's make sure we're getting through the validation first. Okay. Validation's failing. So let me see here. That's the first post we're going to need. And this is honestly going to need to be something very similar. And we're going to create that. All right, let's see how we're looking now. Oh, let me see, that's patch requests to photo. Yeah, we don't need this edit guy there. There we go. Cool. Nice. Just helping me clean up a few things, which is really nice. And we'll just write this one out real fast. Oh. Gonna update that guy. Nice. And then where are these failing? All right, a couple things here. Let's see if this fails. So this is the problem with this approach. I'm assuming these four are going to be okay. Yep. Cool. And was this guy working? I need to do a little better job world building here, like I was doing up top. All right. Oop, did I go the wrong one? little annoying, but it fixes that. All right, we're getting close. Oh. Wrong. Session is missing. Do we have that user ID? Oh, I'm trying to post the wrong route. Change that for all these. I think that's what kind of throws off the probably issue on the other side. There we go. I think we can one-line this. Let me see if this will work. It's a little messy, but I think it's still valid. That's like, if you want to do that, I think it's nice because like I still kind of know what's going on, and it kind of shortens it up. But again, where are we doing this? Getting fancy here. Real fancy. Alrighty, so we're almost done with this test. This API. I need this. And this should take care of that. Alright, what's failing here? Requires a published at. There we go. Now if we run all of our tests. Nice, look at that. Back to green. Okay, and I think I know what's going on with these media tests and why that's failing, and I want to refactor that. So let me first say we added post endpoints and tests. So we can do that. Now I can make this refactor here and think we'll be on our merry way. So let me open up my, okay, let's just do this. I think there was a way to, where'd it go? Have multiple? Yeah, this like this, which is pretty nice. Clean up this routes file a little bit, and look at that, we've already got a post controller. I guess this is posts for us. I don't know why I did that. I may have made the model wrong. Probably some of the issues I'm running into. And then we'll do media, and we'll say media controller. Alrighty here. So if I go to my media tests, the feature test here, and I think I can get rid of this here. I'll take care of a lot of this. And then, where else here? I'll do it here. That's fine. Everything else here looks okay. Deleting media, get rid of this guy. User can't create media. I think that's right. Alrighty. Let's see if we're closer. Nice. That's why tests are awesome. Now we can get rid of all this. And we're down to a much smaller file, which, you know, it's not the be all end all, but it just is kind of nice. Some people this like bothers them because then they can't see everything, but for me, like, I can just come in here and go like route lists and like know what I'm working with anyway. So, and I know we're following a very consistent convention as well, and we've got the names, and I think those benefits outweigh the costs of not being able to see them. All right, so we commit that. Refactored media web route endpoints. Use resource over something like that. Alrighty, so that was a lot of work. We did. We've got our media figured out. We've got our submissions. That kind of took a little while. We're kind of getting the mail testing figured out, but now that's under test, which is really nice. And then we have our post as well. So next week we'll wrap it up. We'll get our tags finished, which I think will just be the last little bit of our API, and then we can start working with this on the front end a little bit more and actually like executing this, and then we can start developing. So we'll probably crank out the back end. A few little things we'll have to figure out, image handling being one of them, but we can get started on this back end, and then we can get started on the front end, which I think is sort of the exciting part of this project, but we'll get there pretty soon now, so that's kind of fun. Cool. Well, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. On Wednesday, I don't have any portfolio feedback or project feedback sessions lined up just yet, but if you'd like me to review yours, let me know, and I'm happy to do that, so hit me on Twitter. Otherwise, I'll probably hack on some other projects, or maybe just wrap up the tags. Who knows? But we'll figure that out from there. So have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thanks for spending your Saturday morning with me, and we'll see you next time.